everyone to the 2020 for Excellence in Nonprofit Management and Leadership Presenter Interview Series. And I am joined today by Bill Wilson. Bill, welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
I am so glad to have the opportunity to sit down and chat with you today. Why don't you start by telling everyone a little bit about who you are and what your area of expertise is?
Well, currently I kind of wear two hats. One is I am the president of Graceful Solutions, which is an affordable housing developer in town. That's my volunteer full-time job. And then in the real world, I run Inner Harbor Partners for improved performance. And we primarily do work in the area of performance improvement. A lot of that results in training design. We work with organizations to figure out, I developed a model over the years called what, who, how, and why not. And so we work through that with organizations. And it's all about, if you're going to change the outcome of an organization, you got to change the behavior of the people that work there. So that usually ends up with some sort of training program as well to help bring about that behavioral change so you get the business outcome change you're looking for.
That's awesome. So essentially like change management, right?
We have worked with a couple of change management programs over the years. That's certainly integrated, but from the front, you've got to understand what is it that you're trying to do with the organization? What does success look like? And then figure out who in the organization or who outside the organization can impact that success. How do those people need to behave for you to be successful? And then why aren't they behaving that way now? And once you get those 4 steps down, you can put a pretty good strategy together to change what's going on.
That's awesome.
That's kind of the simple way we go about it. And it's very flexible, but very structured as well. And it's been pretty successful over the years.
Well, I would imagine because it's a very important aspect of building and growing an organization. So, in order for you to get the outcomes you want, you got to do the things that yield the outcomes. And sometimes there are things blocking us or that you get kind of blocks in the workflow or blocks in the process flow that you may have because you have such a intimate perspective on what is happening. You can't really see where the blockage is, and you need someone else from the outside to come in and give you that overarching, that bird's eye view so that you can identify where the breakdown is.
We have found that most of the knowledge is there. Mm-hmm. It just needs a structured facilitation process to get it all on the table in such a way that everybody's on the same page and can see the same picture.
I wholeheartedly agree, because that's one of the things that I work on is business productivity, strategic planning, all of that good jazz. So I completely understand. And I didn't even introduce myself. I don't even think.
Well, do that, please.
So for those of you who are joining the interview series for the first time, I am Trissetta Alexander, and I am a business productivity and strategic consultant, business productivity coach and strategic consultant for businesses, nonprofits, and ministry. And it is my joy and pleasure to be the facilitator of the presenter interview series for the 2020 UPHS conference. And so I am sitting with Bill Wilson, and we are chatting about, we're getting ready to start chatting about what he's presenting on for the conference. So what is the title of your presentation, and give us a little bit of an idea of what you anticipate sharing?
I think the presentation is called Leading from the Second Chair. And it really is, I think there are 2 pieces of this that we're going to be talking about. One is informal leadership, and one is formally being designated as the number 2 in some sort of succession transition planning. Mm-hmm. And I think those roles are different, and we need to kind of talk about them differently. So if you're an enlightened organization that has a really viable succession plan, or as I like to call it, the Mack truck plan. You know, if the ED's walking down the street and the Mack truck's coming along, what's going to happen? And having a clear succession plan and knowing who is in line, who's got has been supported by the ED in getting the breadth of experience and the different portion and operations of the organization to be able to move into that formal leadership role. That's one piece. The other piece is anybody can be a leader. All you need to be a leader is to have some followers. And in order to have followers, you have to have trusting relationships. That comes from three things: honesty, respect, and alignment. So providing those three things for the people in your circle of influence and building those relationships helps you create that role of leader. So now if I'm in that leader and I have a clear vision and I get other people aligned to that vision and they trust that I'm going to do what I say and I'm going to look out for them, and we've got that kind of relationship and we're all honest with each other about what we're doing and where we're going, then we can get some things done. And I can do that without having the label of being a manager. And there's a difference between being a manager and being a leader.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're going to be going, talking about the differences between those two and how being in that role in one versus being in the role of the other is different and how you need to play that within the organization.
Yeah, and I love that you shared the three qualities, and it's, you know, it sounds simple. You make it sound simple. You make it sound easy. What are some of the challenges that you see people facing in practice when it comes to actually practicing leadership, whether it's in a formal or informal setting?
Well, some of this comes out of work from Dr. Doug Zahn, who was in the statistics department at FSU, and he developed what is referred to in my stuff that I work with, the Zahn triangles, and he worked with the quality improvement work back when with Demings and Crosby and those guys. And we took Deming's 14 points and said, okay, if you're going to do quality work, there's a triangle. And it requires everybody on one team, a commitment to quality, and database decision making. It takes those three things to do quality work. But nobody knows what database decision making is. So that's the center of another triangle. And in order to do database decision making, you have to have good data, you have to have an accountability model, and you have to have empowered relationships. So if you don't have empowered relationships, then people will use the data to avoid the accountability. Mm. So the accountability piece becomes critical to being able to do database decision making. What are empowered relationships? That's the third triangle. And that's alignment, honesty, and respect. And that bottom line of honesty and respect is the trust line. So until the trust line is in place and you have alignment, you can't have empowered relationships to stick with an accountability model with good data to make the good database decisions and do quality work. So it all comes down to building that trust piece with honesty and respect. And that requires transparency, and that requires a commitment to each other and to the organization in a very open and honest and respectful way. And we got that, and we all know where we're going and we're aligned, then we got a relationship that works. And if I can put that together and manage it, then I can be a leader.
Okay, Bill, you just said like a whole mouthful. Like we could probably spend an hour just talking about the triangles alone, if not more. But we don't have that kind of time today. Okay. So if people want to learn more, if they want to hear more, if they want to go deeper into these concepts, then you're going to have to register to be a participant for the conference. It is available. The conference is open to both members of the United Partners of Human Services as well as non-members. So if you are
that's prospective members.
And you say prospective, excuse me, prospective members, because
right.
After the conference, if you're not already a member, you're going to want to be a member.
There you go.
I actually just recently joined myself. So I'm going to include, I'm going to go back and add a link to learn more and register for the conference into the post description. But if you're watching live and you want to run over there right now, you can head over to uphsfl.org/annual-conference to learn more. Or you can, you could just go to uphsfl.org and hit the events tab and you'll see the annual conference there if you have a little trouble navigating. Bill, this is some really great stuff, and I know that there are probably people watching who are leading organizations or who are planning their own events or their own conferences and would love to have you come and share on this topic. How can people connect with you? What's the best way?
Email or phone, either one works. bwilson@ihpip.com. That's Inner Harbor Partners for Improved Performance. The name worked a lot better the few years we lived in Baltimore. But or just the cell phone number, and we can give you those and you can stick them on your graphic on the end of this when you post it.
Sure. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining me today. It was truly a pleasure. You actually taught me a little something today, because like I said, we kind of are in the same sphere. And so now I'm going to have to go do a little research, do a little digging on these triangles that you were talking about. But I am glad that I'm going to be at the conference. I'm actually presenting at the conference as well. So I will be there, and I am looking forward to your session because I'm going to have my notebook so I can take lots and lots of notes.
We'll have a good time.
Yes, we will. So, and we want you to join us. So please head on over to uphsfl.org and register you and your team today. And because it's virtual, you can join us from anywhere in the world, whether you're in your home office, your office, or on vacation, traveling somewhere else, you can join us. Plus, we also have an all access pass available to you where you can get access to the recordings for all the sessions, both the general sessions and the breakout sessions. You can get lifetime access to those with the all access pass. So if you can't join us live, you can actually get the recordings. So Bill, thank you again for joining me today.
And you can come in your pajamas.
There you go, another bonus. All right, thank you so much again for joining me today. And we will see you all hopefully at the UPHS annual conference.